Welcome to Jimmy James Garage. Today we're back with the 56 wagon. Again, everybody calls it a Nomad, but it's a 56 wagon. We all know it, 56. So I did a little demonstration yesterday about getting up and down off the floor with the milk crate. So it's still all set up here, and right underneath here, right there, we're going to go up underneath the fender right there. We're going to take that little inner fender out because we are going to replace the dimmer switch on the headlights. So we got one going out on us and just wants to stay in high beam, which is fine. It doesn't blind me. So we're going to replace it. I've had it and just haven't done it. So that's what we'll be doing, and I'll bring you a little tidbits on what we're doing. But again, we're going to start under the car, separate that fender right there. There's a couple bolts there. I don't think you need to really have me walk you through it, but it's there. So you just pull them apart, and it's right up there on the floor. I'll try to get a couple shots of it after I get it apart, and then we'll show you the rest of it. But here we go. We're working on the old 56 wagon today. Jimmy James Garage. A little quick pro tip here. So I always put this on the steering wheel when I got the wheels turned. Just poke it with the paper towel that I have laying over there, and a little screwdriver goes through the little holes on the wheel. But it says, don't forget wheels turned. Because as I'm working on this thing, the wheels are going to be turned. And when I let it back down, I want to make sure they're straight ahead, because this thing's on bags and it's very low because it has drop spindles and all that good stuff. So it sits really low. And I don't want this tire to come in contact, which it would. So I always put it on there. Just something you want to pay attention to. That's just my little tip for you. And of course, I got a lot of little tips, like I always put glasses on when I go under the car, because you're going to get stuff falling in your eyes, and that's a good way to keep things out of your eyes. So we're going to keep working. So I decided to add a few more little things to this video, but you get on the ground here and you pull this, the bolt comes out right, in here, and then that inner fender just kind of pops down, and you can see right in there, you can see the switch. And you're going to unplug that little gray piece with the wire on it. We're going to unplug that, and then we're going to go back in the car, and there's going to be two little screws we're going to pull out, and that switch will come out the top. But to get to it, you have to do the wires underneath. And again, it's only two little bolts right here on this little inner fender, right? Kind of see I can't really see my hand, but yeah, they're just right here. They're just right under the car, right at the back of the fender. Real simple. Yeah, there you go, right there. So one there, and then there's one little smaller one over there by the light. So that's what we do, and I will pull that out, and we're going to put the switch in, and we're just going to keep it working. Kind of fun stuff for a Saturday afternoon. What more fun than just to work on your car? So actually what I did is I just took these other three bolts out. It makes it a lot easier. It's wide open here, so instead of reaching in there, I went to reach up in there and thought, I'm just going to pull those other three. So as you can see, fairly simple. And by the way, this car has good clean floors. It really does. A lot of people have, asked because of all the patina on it, how is it? And it's very clean. So like I said, it's not completely painted or anything like that, but it is definitely all original, and it's not all rusted up. But so what we're going to do is we're going to pull those wires. We're going to go inside the car. We're going to pull these two bolts out right here, and then we're going to put in our brand new switcheroo. So stay tuned and look at, you got a yellow, a green, and kind of an orange color. Orient those so they go to the same way back. And this is pretty simple stuff. So again, here we go. That made it the easiest. Just pull those other three bolts out. They're self-tapped or self-nutted on the backside. So very, very simple to deal with, and we're going to have high lights. A last little thing to be careful with too is especially on painted cars. You know, this one doesn't have painted, but you know, this fender kind of comes out here. So when you open this door, let me show you what it'll do. You want to make sure you have that pushed back because you will hit the fender. It hits. So like I said, this car is no big deal. It opens right up, but just be careful with it. Go real slow and make sure you don't hit it. You can put some tape on it, or you can put the bolt back in and pull it back in when you go to open it up. Because in here, we're going to take those little screws out of that switch. So that's what we're doing. You know, I was going to end this video, but I'm going to end it right here. I want to show you this. So this is a really, really cool magnets. You can get them off your local Amazon. And I don't know, they're like 20 bucks or something. But so if you're out here in a shop by yourself, like I am a lot of the times, and you want to be able to hold it, a lot of people take duct tape and they'll do all sorts of stuff. But look, you can just grab this thing here and then line it up like that, and it'll hold it because it's a magnet. You just hold it in there like so. I'm going to reline that up, obviously, but that's the idea of it. It holds it right in there, and then when you go up on top, the screws are lined up for you, and you're not trying to pull it up there, hold it with the switch part, hang it on the edge. I mean, it just kind of, it gets it kind of lined up for you. So that is a really, really neat tech idea when you're by yourself out in your shop, which most of us are. And so go ahead, local Amazon, get yourself a magnet to hold on that. And it's all, you know, it's all nice. And I'll wipe it back down to make sure, because I put it on the fender a lot, make sure there's no grime on it, scratch the car. Also, I do have a lot of questions about this car, but there's the airbags. And there's the dual piston caliper disc brakes and the upper and lower tubular control arms. So yeah, it's a pretty nice setup. It works out really, really well. And of course it has a 2-inch drop spindle. I don't know if you can see the spindle in there, but you can see the end of it. But it has a 2-inch drop spindle. Again, it's a very nice setup. It's very easy to control. The car rides great on these tires. The tires are the bomb. Okay, remember, Jimmy James Garage. Go like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. So here we are at the moment of truth. I got the new switch plugged in. Let's come over and flip the headlights on. Okay, we got headlights. See them on the garage there? Let's walk it on around. We got lights. All right, let's see if we got a switcheroo. So before I bolt it up, I always test it. So there we go. Yep, still got lights. How cool is that? Let's see if it's on high beam. Yep, it's on high beam. Oh, we have the red dot. Yep, there you go. It's a little Chevrolet emblem, which is really cool. I really do like that. It's one of my favorite things about the dash on these things, is to have that little red light, little red indicator. So now we just need to button it up. So we'll button it up. We'll get these, they're blinding me. Ah, they're so bright. So that's it. Put it back in reverse order. Push it back up in there. And now you have high beam, low beam. That was pretty simple. Literally takes you about 15 minutes. Takes you longer to jack the car up. But that is a little project that if you own one of these beautiful Tri-5s, you will definitely be doing a headlight switch at some point. This one looks original. It looks like it's never been taken out. And if it has, it's been in there a long time. The 55 already's had one, and I was talking to my dad about it the other day, and he says he also put one in his Nomad. So all three of the cars have had the headlight dimmer switches go on them. So I guess it's just something that happens around here. The other thing I have going on here in the shop that I don't play, I always have music going on out here. Of course, with the YouTube video, you know, there's all that copyright, so I got to turn it down when I start filming, which is, you know, it is what it is. I don't have a problem with it, but I always have the music going out here in the shop, makes it nice and comfortable. You know, I have the pellet stove running because it is cold up here in Idaho, even though we have a nice warm insulated shop. Got to have that pellet stove running. A couple other things I wanted to talk about real quick before I finish this up is I was actually out of high school. I was a kid that didn't know really what he was going to do. I worked at a Chevron in Anderson, California, pumping gas and changing tires and fixing tires, and just did whatever I could. And I did the ROP auto shop where I went there for 3 or 4 classes. After it was half a day, I would go to this auto shop because I was, really big into cars, huge into cars. 15 years old, I had my first car, and by the day I turned 16, I was driving to school that morning. I set up the DMV appointment that morning to have that car on the road, and I was in my high school parking lot with my car. It was important to me. Like I said, I really enjoy cars. But again, I was a kid that didn't really know, what I was going to do with my life. I had no real, let me, while I'm rambling here, kind of telling my story, I better just turn the lights off because, there we go. Just give you a little background about me. So I didn't know where I was going to do. And there was a guy that I had a few dealings with in the ROP auto shop. He had the small engine repair next door, and he was kind of grumpy. I guess he was grumpy and I was 17. You can do the math. But they came to him and asked him if he knew anybody that was willing to do a brand new program from General Motors, and that was really into cars and really into Chevrolets, to be honest with you. And he says, I know just the guy. And he called me up and said, hey, I know we've had our differences at times, and I think you'd be the best fit for it. So General Motors met with me and my parents, and I guess I fit the bill. So there was 13 of us, and we all went to this training. First we had to get in and pass a test. It was kind of like a reading, writing, arithmetic type, spelling type stuff. I'm sure I failed the spelling part. The grammar and my spelling probably wasn't. I got by it. So we took a little entrance exam. Once we passed it, there was 13 of us that were inducted into this program, and it was what they call a full ride. It was a full ride scholarship. They paid for it all. Felpro Gaskets also donated. I wouldn't say donated. They gave me a scholarship of good money every month, every quarter. They gave me money to, for books and I used it for gas money at times. I was a 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid at the time, and, my parents were like, hey, good luck with it. You need to find your way. They were very helpful. I'm not saying they weren't, but they were also at the same time were like, it's time to be a big boy and time to go to school and time to find your way. And I was pretty fortunate to be able to still work for my uncle because he lived in the area where the college was. So I could do that. And then I had my scholarships, and the school was all paid for, every bit of it. And I ended up coming up with an AA degree out of it in automotive. And they placed you in jobs, so we'd work every few weeks. We actually put the training center together, the group of us, me and my buddy Mike. I'm sure Mike's on here. I'm going to tell him I'm talking about him. And that's where I met my buddy Mike. And we are still friends to this day. He had a cool Chevelle, and we did some motor work to it and did some training work to it. And we blew up my car and blew up my truck, and we run chickens over in the little mini truck we used to go back and forth with. We had a lot of fun. And, I met him at 18 years old, and like I said, still great friends today. As good a friend as you can have. And anyways, back to the story. We both went and got our degree there. We worked. It was hard. It was tough. I think I believe it was 8 that ended up actually finishing it out of us original 13. It was a tough day. You had to go and do a full load of schoolwork, do all the training work, still work at the dealership, and you went back and forth. And we had some long hours. We were basically 6 to 8 weeks at school and basically 6 to 8 weeks at work. And the dealership took care of us and sponsored it. And, we got paid a minimum wage and we worked at the dealership, but none of that was enough to really survive. Minimum wage was $3.35 an hour. So do the math, and put that in an 18-year-old kid with a hot rod and a 4-speed, and you can figure out pretty quickly that just isn't enough to get it done. But we got through it, found our way. The neat thing about it is I was a kid that had no direction. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had parents that wanted me, you know, doctor, lawyer, pushing me hard, and, you know, making sure I went to school. And we had a lot of little deals that I had to get good grades to have a car. And there were some, you know, great incentives. But again, at the end of the day, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no clue. I just know I wanted to race cars. That's all I wanted to do. And this provided me that. I ended up going on to a dealership out of Red Bluff, who I still stay in contact with this day. They were really good to me. It was excellent working there. I worked there for 5 years. So that's kind of a little bit of my background. I went on to do other things. I went a different direction, but I always had a car. I always stayed here with a car. So never had less than one. I've always had multiple, and I don't really suggest that. You know, well, you do what you want to do. Some days I go, oh man, it's tough having multiple cars. And other days I go, kind of cool having a box of Hot Wheels. So that's some of what, you know, my background is. And what I was going to show you here is, I just dug this out of a box the other day, but it actually shows us here. I'll turn it to you. So right there is my degree, and they put it on a wood plaque, and my college degree, you know, saying I had an associate's degree and all that good stuff, and got it in 1987 is when we completed the program. So pretty neat that General Motors did that. I just actually don't even know if they even do that today. I don't know if that program's still around, to be honest with you. You know, and if you're paying attention, you could probably figure out, you know, something else I did over time. I don't know. So there's other things I've done, but cars and deer hunting are my passion. That's the two things I really enjoy. I really enjoy these cars, and I really enjoy these Tri-5s, and I'm going to keep bringing more content about the Tri-5 because it is, like I said, it was the first car I really wanted. It wasn't the first car I bought, but it was the first car I wanted. And so there you go. That's what we did today. We did a headlight, dimmer switch. Now I'm not blinding everybody all the time. It works great. I'm going to button it up. I'm actually going to get my my moving blanket up off the floor, get the car back on the ground, and maybe I'll go burn a steak. So you have a great day, and thanks for watching, and I appreciate all of the likes and subscribes and all the content and all the questions. Keep that stuff coming. You know, I really, really enjoy answering the questions, and it's funny, I've even been called fat on it. I love that. Some guy goes, oh, you're fat. like I didn't know. That's a surprise. I told him I'm fat. I'm husky. Come on now. You know, it's great. The comments are, in general, have been overwhelmingly positive. I mean, overwhelming. It's kind of shocking, but it does make me laugh at some of the comments that they just can't wait to say something, you know. And if it makes them feel good, I'm glad for them. I appreciate it. It just helps me out and helps us all get a good little laugh out of it. So again, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I'm going to attach, you know, because I'm new at this stuff. I'll put it in the corners or down here, wherever I can get it when I go and work on putting these videos together, because I got a couple of them lumped in on my new camera here, which I really, 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 really like. So this is a great little camera. It's worked out real well. I'm not trying to use my phone and dropping it and messing with it. So again, like, subscribe, ask a question. You can call me fat, call me old. Just don't call me late for dinner.